I cannot explain this book right now. Fuck. Hi friends, it's me again. Welcome to my car. Welcome to my car. It's been waiting for you. We're gonna do my October reading wrap-up. I know the only videos I've been posting lately are my wrap-ups. To be honest, school is killing me. My depression and anxiety have been really bad. It's bad. It's kind of the worst my depression has ever been, and the only thing that makes me happy is talking about books and being by myself. So that's why my uploads haven't been frequent at all, but I do want to say thank you for 3,500 followers. I don't know where the hell y'all came from, but hi, thank you. I appreciate it. Just bear with me. I am trying to figure out my mental health crap while also reading, while also trying to finish up my last year of grad school, and it's just a lot, and I'm very fucking sad. So but yes, we're going to talk about all of the books that I read this month. This month, for some reason, even though it was one of the stressful ones, I read 10 books. That's probably how you know I've been fucking sad, because I've read 10 books and usually my average is like 6 or 7. So we're going to talk about those. First book I read was A Risk on Forever. I got the arc of this sometime in September, and then I read it around October 1st. Risk on Forever follows the story of Addie and Matt and Helen. A car just pulled up next to me. I'm very embarrassed right now. Should I move? You know what? Screw it. I was here first. Okay. Anyways, Addie just lost her job, and since she's the sole provider for her family, like, she kind of needs to work, you know? So one day she sees an ad in the paper, or I think online or something, about someone needing a caretaker. So she takes them up on their offer, and she ends up meeting Matt and Helen. Helen is Matt's mom, and she has, oh God, I forgot what she was diagnosed with. ALS. She has ALS. Oh God, they're getting out of the car. That's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I should move. I should move. Like I was saying, Helen has ALS, so it's gonna be Addie's job to come in and take care of her. The problem is her son Matt is a real asshole. He does not like the idea of anyone taking care of his mom while he's away because he's a pilot. Obviously, Matt and Addie catch feelings for each other. And the story itself is just really cute. It's really sweet. It's a short read. It's only 285 pages. I think I only gave this around like a 3.75 or a 4. Like, it was good. It just wasn't my favorite. I wanted a little bit more development between Matt and Addie, but it was still really cute. Still recommended if you want something quick and light and you'd be supporting a new author. So definitely recommend A Risk on Forever. I don't know why I called this book cute and light, because it has those aspects, but it's also sad in some parts, like towards the end. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's a light read, but it's also really sad towards the end. I don't want to give spoilers, but it's not just a cute light read. I'm an idiot. So yeah, okay, bye. The next book I picked up this month was The Fine Print. Y'all, I love this book so much. This was my first book I read by Lauren Asher, who is also the author of the Dirty Air series that I will be starting soon. But I love this book so much. Before I start fangirling, let me explain what this book is about first. There are people next to me and I want them to leave because they're watching me film myself talk about books, which is fine, but also, like, go away. So this is dual POV and it follows Rowan and Zara. Rowan is rich. His grandfather owns kind of a lot of properties, and one of his biggest being this big amusement park known as Dreamland. So think Disneyland. Literally Disneyland. Rowan's grandfather died, and in his will he left tasks for Rowan and his 2 brothers. Rowan's task is basically to become the director of Dreamland and kind of restore the magic that's kind of been lost. Because Rowan is the more artsy kind of guy, like, that's why he was given this task. Rowan is not that person anymore. Like, he's not a dreamer. He is a really grumpy guy. He's rude, he's mean, he's an asshole. Like, he literally just wants to get shit done. It's very, like, businessy, but the point is he has to be the director of this place that he does not want to direct in order to get his share of, like, his grandfather's wealth or something like that. In comes Zara, who actually works at Dreamland, and she was close with Rowan's grandfather. She accidentally submits a proposal to Rowan while she's drunk, so that kind of spiked his interest. Ultimately, Zara and Rowan start working together in order to try to make Dreamland a better place. Obviously, it's Grumpy Sunshine. They fall in love, and it's the cutest thing ever. Zara is amazing because not only does she not take shit from Rowan, but she just cares about so much, and it's so heartwarming. She's a person of color. I loved it. It was very easy to get through. I want a second book. Oh, Speaking of that, there's gonna be more books in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and the other 2 books are gonna focus on Rowan's other brothers, Declan, I believe, and Cal. I am not opposed to reading about billionaires. Like, you're financially stable, you can take care of me. 5 out of 5 for this, highly recommend. Next, I picked up Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book is one of my favorites that I've ever read. 5 out of 5 for sure. It's so fucking cute. Like, it's so cute. It's about Macy and Elliot. They met when they were kids, and y'all know I am a whore for childhood friends to lovers. It has the past and the present timeline, so you see Macy and Elliot like growing up and falling in love with each other, and then it switches to the present where Macy and Elliot are basically estranged. Like, they do not see each other, they haven't spoken in 11 years, and then one day they run into each other at a coffee shop. You're kind of just like going through the whole book trying to figure out what happened on New Year's. Macy and Elliot's relationship is so wholesome, so cute. It'll make you feel warm and fuzzy. Like, it's just the cutest thing ever. It does have a plot twist, and it's kind of sad, and I definitely cried, but this book is definitely worth the hype. I loved it so much, especially if this book has been on your shelf for a minute. I know I bought this months ago, and I just left it on my shelf, and I just never got around to reading it. So if you are like me, and you have this book on your shelf, go pick it up. Do not hesitate. It's so fucking good. Oh God. Okay. The next book I read is a part of a trilogy. I buddy read this with a couple friends from TikTok. I picked up the Ravenhood trilogy. Y'all, I did not know what I was getting myself into. My friends and I that buddy read this, we had no fucking idea what the series was about, and that's kind of the point. It's so mysterious, and you really can't explain much without spoiling the entire thing. So I'm gonna try my best to get through this without telling you what happens, because this is really a series where you should go in blind. It's so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorite series of all time. Cecilia moves to this small town to live with her dad in order to like get her inheritance from him or something. It's something weird like that, where she has to like live with him and work at his company in order to like, I don't know, her dad like is gonna give her some money because all of her life he's been kind of like a no-show, estranged kind of thing. I cannot explain this book right now. Fuck. So in this small town, Cecilia meets Sean, who kind of introduces her to his friends, but this is where it's like, I don't want to give too much away, but fuck. She meets Sean, and she can tell that Sean is just in some sketchy shit, so you're trying to figure out what, but I literally cannot explain this series. I don't know what to say without giving spoilers. Like, it's that kind of series. It's so mysterious. This book feels like it has absolutely no plot at all, but I promise you, this series is the best thing ever. Going through this, you are going to be very confused. You're not gonna know what's happening at all until like the last chapter, literally. But it still kept me very entertained. Like, things that happened in this book, I just highly recommend you go into this book with an open mind. That's literally all I can say without giving spoilers. I don't have words for this series, especially the first book, because the first book really has no plot, but it builds up to the second and third book. So let's just talk about those for a minute. So after Flock, the next book is Exodus, and then the third book is The Finish Line. Exodus, this book ruined me. If you follow my TikTok, I literally spent a week crying because of this book. It's so good. The entire series is good, but this book explains what Flock was about. Like, everything that happened, it makes sense starting in this book. Like, after you read this book, or even while you're reading this book, you're gonna want to go back to Flock, just because like things start making sense. So like you point things out where you're like, oh, that's why that happened, you know? It's one of those series, which is fucking phenomenal. This book took a different turn that I was not expecting, and while I was reading, I didn't think I was gonna like it, just because it's kind of split up in 2 parts. So the first part, I fucking hated. I was like, I do not like where this is going. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the series, because I love the first book so much because of the characters, and then this book I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why is this happening, you know? The second half of the book completely restored this for me. This is a 5-star read. Like, I went in thinking I was gonna hate it, and then I got to the second half and I was like, oh, like things in the first half makes sense now because I got through the second half. You're gonna have so many emotions, so many conflicting feelings, and then once you actually just get through the book, you're like, this is fucking amazing. Like I said, I cannot really talk about this book without giving away spoilers, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say that if you are into like a mystery kind of vibe with some romance, with some spicy scenes, some very spicy scenes, besties. Like, holy shit. This is one of the best trilogies I've ever fucking read. I finished this like 2 weeks ago and I still think about these books every single day. It's that fucking good. Like, this is a series that will personally stay with me forever. The third book in the series is The Finish Line. 5 stars as well. This one just kind of literally wraps up everything. Personally, I feel like the first 2 books could have just been like left at that. Like, it didn't need a third book, but this one is so healing. You see a lot of character development, which I love. And as you get through this book, you start to realize like why it was needed. Like, I got through the second book and I was so heartbroken where I'm like, I don't even want the third book. Like, I just want the second book to be left how it was. I thought the ending for the second book was perfect. And I was like, I'm still heartbroken. Like, I don't want to start this third book. So it did take me a couple days to open this book because I was so heartbroken. It was actually embarrassing how fucking depressed the series made me, but in a good way, you know? The third book is definitely needed. It's so rewarding and you just get to see so much more character development and it's so fucking good. Like, how many times am I gonna say that? This series is good. So I highly suggest you read this series and please talk to me about it because I can't say much without giving spoilers and I don't want to ruin it. This is definitely a series where you should go in blind. Like, do not look up spoilers. Don't look up anything besides like trigger warnings and stuff. If you read this series, please send me DMs on Instagram or TikTok or anything and let's talk about it because like this is a series you need to read with people. If you need to talk to me while you get through the series, I am for it because I think about these books every single day. It's literally one of my favorite trilogies ever now. So if you read this and you need someone to talk to about it, hit me up. Please. Whew, got through that. Sorry, like that literally made no sense and I don't know if I sold you on those books, but I promise you it's the best thing I've ever read. Next, I picked up To Love Jason Thorn by Ella Maise. So Olive has a crush on Jason, who is her brother's best friend, and he's always over their house because he has like a rough family kind of dynamic. After Jason's mom dies, he ends up moving away. Olive was really sad about it when she was really young, but years later she writes a book and Jason is an actor, so her book is being turned into a movie and they hired Jason to be the lead guy in her movie. So that's kind of how they reconnect years later when she's all grown up and he's this famous actor, but he's kind of a womanizer. The press just does not love him. Like, he is not doing well in his career because he's making all of these stupid mistakes. So his agents basically suggest that he and Olive try to do a fake dating kind of situation. So it looks like he's got his head on so he can get more roles for his movies in the future, right? So that's basically the gist of this book. Like, obviously Olive is still super in love with him and then like he's starting to think of her differently now too because she's grown up and like they haven't seen each other in years and it's really cute. This personally wasn't my favorite. I think I gave this like 3.5. I wasn't that into it by the time I got to the end. Like, it was still cute, still wholesome. It just wasn't my favorite book that I read. There's another book after this called To Hate Adam Connor. I do have that one and I do want to start that one because I heard that one was a lot better than this one and this one wasn't bad. It just wasn't my favorite. So to kind of wrap up this month, I decided to just finally start the Addicted series. So this is a very talked about series on TikTok, Bookstagram. Like, everyone is obsessed with this series and I know it's gonna take me a minute to get like into it because there are 10 books and right now I'm only on book 3. Lily is a sex addict and Lo is an alcoholic and they're rich kids. So it's literally like Gossip Girl. In order to hide their addictions from their family, they pretend to be together in a relationship so that they don't have to deal with people, they don't have to get help. So it's literally them just enabling each other's addictions, right? It starts off with them just fake dating to keep up appearances so they can live together and literally just hide each other's secrets from other people, right? But then towards like, I don't even want to say the middle because it happens a little bit like before. I want to say around like the 40% mark, they decide to actually get together because they've been best friends since they were kids. And you can tell that they really, really love and care about each other. And it's the cutest thing ever, even though it's sad that they are enabling each other, you know? To be honest, I know it's going to take me a couple books to get invested in this universe. A lot of people say that's normal because right now it's good, but it's just kind of like, okay to me. It was very hard for me to read about them enabling each other for so long, but I did enjoy this book a lot. I am continuing with the series. Like I said, I'm on book 3 right now. I'm kind of getting through it very slowly just because right now the series has not really hooked me. I've gone through the first 2 books and I haven't hated them. Like, I've given them 4 stars. It's just like it hasn't it hasn't like grabbed me yet, you know? I'm struggling a little bit with having a connection to the characters, but it's a long fucking series, so I'm pretty sure by the time I get to around book 5 or 6, maybe I'll be in a better place, just because I'm not that hooked. Do not hold me to what I'm saying in this video, because I'm saying right now that this series is not personally really doing it for me, but watch next month, I'm probably gonna be like, oh my god, this is the best series ever. So just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I literally have 7 other books to get through. Ricochet, this is the second book. I got through this pretty fast because it was only like 250 pages. It's basically just about Lily and her sisters and her relationships with people, because Lo ends up going to rehab, so he's really not in this book a lot, and I thought I was gonna hate that, but I actually really enjoyed like just learning more about Lily and understanding like her addiction, because it is like a different kind of addiction, you know? She can't go to rehab for sex. That didn't sound right. I meant she can't go to rehab to heal from her sex addiction, you know? Anyway, like I think it's definitely a series where I'm gonna have to read different books in between, because right now I'm on the 3rd book and I feel a little bit of a reading slump coming in. So I just have to adjust my approach with this. I know that I will not be able to binge this series the way I had hoped. I'll keep y'all updated, but for now it's just an okay series to me. Oh shit, I'm not done. I was like, am I missing something? Yeah, I forgot to talk about a whole book. Your girl got an arc of Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. If you read It Happened One Summer by Hook, Line, and Sinker, what the fuck did I just say? Jesus. If you read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, then you know that Piper has a sister named Hannah, and then Brendan's best friend Fox that works on the boat with him. They get together in Hook, Line, and Sinker, but it's like a friends to lovers kind of vibe. I did get an arc, so I can't say much about it because the book doesn't come out until March, but I will say I like this book a lot better than It Happened One Summer. If you saw my last reading wrap-up video, you know that It Happened One Summer was an okay book to me. Like, I liked it, but I just couldn't connect. It wasn't my favorite. I will say that I just don't think I'm a fan of Tessa Bailey's writing style personally. Like, the first half of the book always catches my attention and I'm hooked, but then the middle towards the end is literally where I keep losing interest, and this isn't the first time that it's happened. I just feel like the plots aren't developed enough in order to keep my attention throughout the entire book, if that makes sense. Hook, Line, and Sinker is still really good. I still really enjoyed it. I feel like if you loved It Happened One Summer, you'll probably most likely like Hook, Line, and Sinker. For me, it was a 4-star read. Not bad, but also still not my favorite. Okay, so those are all of the books that I read this month. This was a really good month. Like, I found a lot of my favorites. I know November is going to be very hard for me to read because finals are coming up, and I have a lot of shit that I've been putting off just to read. So if my videos are still infrequent, just know that I'm still in college, y'all. I'm trying to get through life and read and post videos, but it's just really hard and it gets really overwhelming, especially with my mental health being in the gutter right now. So just bear with me. I do really appreciate all of you for holding out. If you want to follow me on all of my other socials, they're linked below. There's TikTok, Instagram. I made a Bookstagram this month. Like, I'm all over the place. Literally just come find me. We can chat, talk about books, boys, life, depression, whatever you want to talk about. As usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, please subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.